You're listening to Podcast PXN,
a video game podcast
delivering player experience news.
Let's go! What's up, guys? Welcome to Podcast PXN, episode 131. I am one of your hosts, Daniel Prindle, aka Dan is DTM on Twitter, and I am joined over Discord by the Nintendo aficionado, Roshan Warner at Roro, the host of Large Popcorn and video essayist Christian Macias at ISO Christian, and one half of the Men and Gitch podcast returning this week, Gage Dempster at Gilbo Biggins. Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Hello. Did you miss me?
I mean, we always miss you, Christian. Why not?
Thank you.
Every week.
Finally, someone says it.
You know who else we miss? All of the people that are watching us live right now and participating in the chat. Just as a reminder, we are live each and every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern on YouTube. Just search Podcast PXN, twitch.tv/Podcast PXN, and Twitter as well. Guys, the topic of the show this week is our thoughts on The Witcher 4 being confirmed and the trials and tribulations that are going to go along with that. But first, the show always starts with the PXN news of the week, so let's go ahead and jump right in. Here we go. Quick bites, guys. Of course, chime in if you would like. That is the quick bites. I don't know. Brandon Jones has announced he's from Easy Allies. You may remember him originally as the one of the main voices of game trailers, which that website was one of my most frequented sites as a kid. Just to go there for all the video game trailers. It was great.
Right.
He has announced his retirement on Twitter. He posts, "Friends, colleagues, allies, I'm retiring. May 1st will be my last day as at Easy Allies and in games. I will continue recording VO and say hello when I am able. More details in this video during EasyX today and in the coming weeks. Thank you all." So I thought this was, kind of important to put in here because I thought he's a pretty profound voice in video games, and I thought that would be cool to kind of put him in here and just say thank you for everything you did. And I also thought it was kind of funny, Christian, because when we were at the Game Awards, we were standing outside the theater, and I literally was like, "Oh, there's that dude from that used to be a game trailer," and I couldn't remember his name. It was him. It was Brandon Jones.
Brandon was there? I don't remember. Oh,
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah. He was outside when we were outside waiting to get in. But yeah, super cool.
Brandon, someone that was was never huge on following, but I do understand that this is an end of a big era. So yeah, wishing him well on whatever he does next outside of the games industry.
Absolutely. Next up, guys, Supermassive, who you may remember from the creators of Until Dawn and also more recently the Dark Pictures anthology games, has announced a spiritual successor to Until Dawn called The Quarry and is officially launching in June. The Quarry is a teen horror where players are controlling 9 different characters as they try to survive the last night of summer camp. And like Until Dawn, anyone can live and anyone can die.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I thought this was...
You forgot the most important part.
What's that?
Brenda's song's in it.
Yes.
Brenda's song. Okay. Yeah, there's a lot of big names in this. Of course, Until Dawn had some big names as well, which is really cool to see. I'm very interested in this. I thought that Until Dawn was very good, and I like that kind of spooky genre. Is this piquing anybody's interest?
I was going to say, sorry, I was going to say, even though I'm not a horror guy, if anybody could get me to play a horror game, it's Ariel Winter and Brenda Song. Those two, let's go. I'm in.
Am I the only one that played Until Dawn in this chat?
I have not played it yet. Yeah, I want to.
Just me and Dan?
Yeah.
Did you like Until Dawn? Because I mean, I didn't love it, but I had a really great time with it, my 1 or 2 days with it.
Yes, I think
fun.
I agree. I think it's kind of the thing where it was kind of a narrative, I don't know. I don't want to say walking simulator, but it was definitely more that than it was gameplay heavy. So yeah, I thought it was good.
Yeah.
From the outside looking in, it seemed very much like the Telltale series. just a horror spin on it with a bit more polish, I guess.
Similar, but
I don't know how true that is.
No, Telltale feels a bit more like rooted in like options and like different like dialogue choices, whereas this very much felt like more like a roller coaster, kind of a movie where you were able to like choose different paths. Closer to an FMB than a kind of a Telltale, to be like the way I felt it.
Kind of like you just keep coming to forks in the road. You go left or you go right, as opposed to being able to sort of carve your own path.
There are moments like that. It's also like depending on what actions you take in like key like action sequences. By the way, one of my favorite things about I'm sorry we're running longer on this quick bite segment than we should, but one of my favorite things that Until Dawn did was there were segments where you would have to not move the controller at all, and it would be like little micro stuff that you just like if you did it you failed. That stuff was always so interesting. It made the game feel a lot more tense, and I felt like I was actually in it as opposed to like when I watch a movie, it's tense only through like the way I experience it. So yeah, through gameplay, that was really cool, and I'm curious to see how they do it with the Quarry.
Yeah, I think now that you're saying that, Christian, the weirdest part of that game, I think, was the end. Like I'm not going to spoil anything, but yeah, you know what I'm talking about. It's just it kind of ended. I was like, what? Where did that come from? But
it was a bit too much.
Yeah, agreed. Moving on, guys. There's new PS4/PS5 update. There's a new one that is available right now. It's got.
And you should not download it.
Yes, yeah. I did see that actually, that it was causing issues after they kind of released this, which is not good. But
what's in it, Dan?
The update, the update comes with open and closed parties now, so that we kind of talked about this when they announced it a while back, which is cool. We're finally getting a party system. You're getting UI enhancements on PS5 and accessibility features, which is always fantastic. They're testing voice commands for accounts in the US and UK. And also they're getting PlayStation app and remote play enhancements, which that's good. A lot of quality enhancements. But one of the features coming on the horizon that they talked about, finally, as we talked about actually, I think last week or a week. Yeah. Variable refresh rate is coming to PS5. It's coming on the horizon. So hopefully with the next update, we'll finally get us some VRR action.
The biggest bummer for me is like the update is just stuff that was already kind of present before in the PS4 ecosystem, like the whole open party and closed party. Like if I remember correctly, it was a thing in the PS4 era. You can see what parties people were in if they had it public, and you could just join them. So happy to see those come back, but like not huge update. I guess also the bummer that it's just causing a lot of issues with PS Plus. Like that really sucks. But VRR on the horizon, great. Finally got a word on it because it was kind of quiet on that front for a hot minute. So exciting stuff.
Real cool. Moving on, guys. Godfall Ultimate Edition is coming to both Xbox and PC on April 7th. This was previously a PlayStation 5 exclusive, and I think it actually ended up coming to PS4 later after they said it was PS5 exclusive. And then now we're getting it on other platforms as well, which is great news for people who enjoyed this game. I think it got okay reviews.
Dozen of you?
I think it got okay reviews. I don't know. But as confirmed by Gearbox, they stated that the Xbox Series X and S versions will receive exclusive hardware-based enhancements, including variable refresh rate and support for Dolby Vision. It'll include the base game, the Fire and Darkness expansion, and 3 content updates: Primal, Lightbringer, and Exalted. So a lot of extra content there, I guess, if you want to dive into Godfall.
When PS Plus gave like Godfall DLC for free, but if you wanted to play like the rest of the game, you had to buy it. That was weird.
That was weird. Yeah. This is like, I think it's like at a 60 on Metacritic or 61 or something like that. It was very mixed when it came out for sure. It feels like one of those games that people are going to be like, okay, yeah, you guys can kind of you keep that one if you want. I'm not too itching to play that one PlayStation. You guys could hold on to that. But having more games everywhere is always good. But yeah, I don't think anybody was like waiting with bated breath to get this on other platforms. But for those who are, good for you.
I'd love to see the sales data for this game because I feel like it's this one seems like a a functional Babylon's Fall, where it's like nobody was particularly excited for this game. This one happens to work, but yeah, I don't know. I don't remember any hype for this game ever.
The biggest thing going for it was that it was a day one release with
PlayStation
PlayStation 5.
PS5,
So
yeah.
those that ended up playing it got to see like pretty graphics and fast loading. So that's cool. But otherwise, yeah, just not very impressive or memorable from what I heard.
Yeah, it's almost like it's almost like it should be a Game Pass game, but it's not a Game Pass game. So I don't know who would pay $60 for this. It's definitely a bargain bin. Anyways, moving on, guys. Nintendo is up to some weird stuff as usual. The Nintendo Wii and DSi digital shops have seemingly been turned off with no warning whatsoever from Nintendo. So yeah, I'm not sure what the hell Nintendo is doing, but apparently both shopping channels have been down since March 16th with no indication whether it was done for maintenance or if Nintendo has taken them offline for good. Players have been unable to purchase items from the Wii shop since 2019 and DSi shop since 2017, but its current state of being down altogether means players who have already purchased games digitally on the platform are unable to officially download them. Obviously, in terms of game preservation, it's not good, as we've talked about a million times before. But yeah, not good to not let your consumers know that this is happening, Nintendo.
Dolphin emulator. Get to it, because this is a very shitty practice. No warning? That is terrible.
Well, that's the thing. It's one thing to say like it's shitty to do it with no warning, but when PlayStation gave a 1-year warning, that was still shitty. Like that's still that's still not enough time, right?
It's shitty no matter what.
Exactly. Yeah. So yeah, I don't know. I recently sold my Nintendo Switch, so I'm happy to be rid of this platform because honestly, I'm sorry, but like at a certain point,
Nintendo.
Yeah, I mean, they're incredibly anti-consumer, and I feel like it's easy to forget because of how colorful their ecosystem is and how bubbly they are in the presentation front. But I mean, this is like you're to take everything that's happened with them for the past 4 years, like that's, and I don't know what the hell they're doing. It just seems like they do not care at all about their consumers, which is just nuts. So I don't know. I'm done with Nintendo for now. This is just
they do seem to get a pass a lot, don't they?
They do,
including me. Like I'm sure I'm part of the problem.
I mean,
sorry. Yeah, go ahead, Dan.
No, I was just going to add on to Chris. I was just going to say, yeah, a lot of us are the problem. Like, we just enjoy these great games that they put out, but then we're like, we forget about the bad shit that they do, and it's just like...
Yeah, we call them weird Nintendo decisions, and we laugh and we move on, but, like, we should probably scrutinize this company more.
Definitely. Yeah, it obviously, we don't know if it was an accident or not, but I have a feeling that it wasn't an accident, and I don't think these channels are coming back up anytime soon. I don't think there's going to be like a PlayStation Vita situation where PlayStation was like, okay, we'll give you a bit more time. We'll turn the lights back on and you guys can download a couple more games. I have a feeling that they're not going to do that. But yeah, which is definitely upsetting. And Gage is absolutely right to like just put his foot down where it comes to this company, and just like everybody has their own like ways of dealing with these companies. I guess like for me, it's like Activision and Ubisoft, and it's just weird how I give Nintendo the okay because I just enjoy some of their games, but just like not other places, and it's just interesting to see where everybody falls down on that kind of stuff. And there's nothing wrong with any of that, but yeah,
for sure. I don't want to like try and tell like Roshan, like you obviously you're still playing Nintendo games. That's totally fine. And I unfortunately missed the Hogwarts Legacy stuff, but the core of something I just want to say is like it's kind of impossible to live an ethical sort of consumer life nowadays. Like from Apple to Microsoft to Xbox to PlayStation, these are all massive companies that do shady shit somewhere, right? So yeah, I mean, I hate when people try to tell other people what they should or shouldn't support because all these companies are bad. It's just kind of like the way things are. So I'm putting my foot down with Nintendo, but I don't care if you don't. Like it's one of those things where it's like everybody has their own prerogative and their own lines in the sand to draw. But for me, it's just like this is just getting silly.
We'll get to it with Hogwarts Legacy, but there was a great article. Oh my gosh, I cannot remember her name. I think it was a Polygon article, if I remember right, last week. And you know the conceit in the article, like there's a great section That was, I'm not gonna tell you whether or not to buy the game. That isn't totally like your prerogative whether or not you want to support it. But at the very least, like it's our responsibility to at least say the facts about
Right.
X, Y, and Z issues, right?
Yeah. So you have the information to make your decision
Yeah.
if you're going to support it or not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. And as we've talked about numerous times on here, the issues are so complex and like there's so many different layers to it. Like you have to think about the developers and the people that are, working on the game, and like obviously everyone has their own thoughts on whether or not, they want to support that or support this, or like if supporting it whatsoever goes up the chain all the way to the top. That's the thing that it's tough for sure. Guys, after that other Nintendo news, we got surely we got some good Nintendo news, right?
Oh my god, this is how they get away with this shit, man. It's like, no, we've like, go ahead, sorry.
So 5 years after the Nintendo Switch launch, they have now added the ability to group games into folders on the Nintendo Switch. So that sounds like a great feature, which people have been wanting for a long time. However, in order to get to these groups of games, you have to scroll all the way to the right and select all software on your Nintendo Switch instead of it just being on the home screen. Nintendo, what are we doing here?
And I'm gonna. Oh,
go ahead.
Please.
Sorry. No, go.
No, it's it. You first.
Okay, I haven't. I was going to say I haven't used it yet. I haven't been able to play much games recently, or even turn on my Switch. But the fact that to get to the folders, you have to go to where all your games are, anyway, and then I don't know. The access all games area is actually really. I wish that was the home screen. Like having to scroll. I wish that was just the home screen. It's just so weird to. I'm just bedazzled, I guess.
1 second, I need to jump in here. Dan, don't you dare read that comment from Glenn.
Do what?
Don't you? Oh, I thought that's what you were smiling at. Oh, I thought I saw you get up there.
I didn't even.
Don't you dare put that dirt on my name.
Sean 2.0. Gage.
God damn it. God damn it.
Sorry Christian, what were you gonna say?
I'm gonna press this further and say, let's scrutinize PlayStation as well for taking away folders with the release of the PS5's OS. Like, does the home system look good? Like, sure. I actually really enjoyed the way the PS5 like outlay looks. It's nice, but like there's only like 10 options on the screen, and if you rotate something else, it'll push everything away. So then you have to go into your library, and I have like, gosh, I don't know, like a bunch of stuff installed, including my hard drive, and so like it gets really messy, and I'm having to go through too many stuff. Bring folders back. I'm sure it'll look just fine on the OS.
Definitely way to. That's the thing with either UI or systems or games, whatever. It's like the next iteration, the next thing shouldn't remove options that were previously there. If anything, you should add new stuff and build upon it. I would just like to say, little tidbit. When I bought my Nintendo Switch in launch year, I didn't get it at launch, but I got it launch year. I'm pretty sure the very first thing I asked for Shan was, "Hey, can you put your games into groups or something?" And you're like, yeah, no, not yet. Hopefully soon. And now,
hopefully soon.
Now, because it's finally happened 5 years later, that kind of unlocked that memory in my brain. So
and you sold your Switch, and you can't even do it.
Right? Yeah. Oh my god! Literally, the first thing I asked about the Switch, hey, can you put these into like little grids or something like that? And you're like, yeah, no, maybe soon.
Hopefully, that's so funny.
And like you said, Gage, about building upon previous stuff, that was like one of the things that people were like complaining about the Xbox going from Xbox One to Xbox Series S and X. They kept the UI the same, just did updates to it and brought it to Xbox One and Series S and X. So like people criticize that because they're like, we want to see something new, but also at the same time, it was good because they kept all the features that people enjoyed from the previous.
So there's a middle ground somewhere. I think.
Sure.
I was gonna say I would definitely like an overhaul of at least the home UI on Xbox, just because it's like it has such a seamless option to make your screenshots like your background, but then you can't see anything because of all the tiles. I would love to have an option where it's kind of like almost like take inspiration from Windows 10 or Windows 11 and have like a bunch of things along the bottom of your screen, or even like down the vertical and horizontal sort of but I know that PlayStation does that, so that might be a little risky trying to something that might seem like it's copying it. But yeah, I mean, yeah, it's unfortunate because I take screenshots all the time, and I'm like, hey, this will make a really good background, and I do it. I'm like, oh wait, I can't see it at all. Ever.
All right, moving on from Nintendo, guys. Hogwarts Legacy got its unveiling at the State of Play late last week. Of course, we talked about that a little bit ago. There are many issues with in terms of the creator of this original IP, or the original Harry Potter IP of J.K. Rowling. Of course, we know all of her transphobic comments that she's made, and all of those things that should never even came out of her mouth. And it's very, very complicated, how we like cover this game and how do we react to this game, and should we be excited and everything else. But I'm just going to honestly, I'm not a big Harry Potter fan, so like I watched a little bit of this State of Play. I didn't really watch it like in depth because I'm just like, I don't really care that much about it. But a lot of people were saying like this gameplay essentially looks like Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, like in terms of like it's weird because you're like using the wand to like slash. Apparently, I didn't really watch that part of it, but like it's essentially like a lightsaber, and I'm just like, is that really what? I don't know if that's how a wand should act. I don't know. I'm not a Harry Potter expert. I will fully admit that, but I don't know.
Okay, so one of my friends was streaming State of Play because he works PlayStation Source, and so I was kind of hanging out in chat. But I saw some of this stuff, and I was like, gameplay look good? Like, sure, but I'm still probably not going to support it, right? And then, reading online, there was already issues with the depictions of goblins in the series of Harry Potter. To find out that the conceit of the game is you fighting against goblins who are, and I'm pulling from the gamer here, fighting for equality and unionization.
Nice. That's cool.
Why?
Good for them.
Why? Why are they the bad guys?
Oh man.
I did not
Wait.
even realize that.
Wait, that's their is that like their official
Yeah. So that's the game. The goblins are fighting for unionization and equality, and those all the rights associated therein. And then your job is to go fight a bunch.
Cool.
To be fair, for the benefit of the doubt, that was wasn't that also the goal of like the Black Flag and what's it called?
Assassin's Creed?
No. I'm that's not the name of it.
That's the only Black Flag I know.
Black Flag is a great game. Great game.
It's not Black Flag. Black Flag is a great game. No, the new Winter Soldier series. What was it?
Oh yeah, I don't remember.
Oh,
that yeah.
Probably
the TV series. So that was their goal, but they are also blowing people up. So maybe the goblins are taking it to the nth degree. We have no idea.
Love. As soon as Christian said they're fighting for equality and unionization, I was watching a clip of just the wizard just absolutely smashing this goblin on the ground.
It's insane.
Yeah. I just thought, I obviously I don't know how they're going about it, like Gage was saying, but it's just so funny to hear what Christian said to just watch the clip.
Just get evil wizards to be the bad guys who want to do something inherently evil, not fight for rights. Come on.
We'll see how they do it. I don't know how Harry Potter works because I'm also not a huge Harry Potter fan. But from fans, apparently the gameplay looks fun despite like the weird goblin stuff. Apparently the gameplay looks like a fun time. So I'm excited for those people. But for me, I watched PlayStation Source too, Christian. I think I saw you in chat for a little bit. But that's where I was watching it, and he wasn't a huge Harry Potter guy. But as the stream went on, he was just like he was getting more and more into it. He's like, "This actually looks fun. Like, I actually want to check this out."
The world is like beautifully realized. The world of the wizarding world of Hogwarts looks visually really stunning, and there's a mood there, and like aesthetics nailing it. But yeah,
I'm not a Harry Potter guy at all either. But my best friend Glenn, who's always in the chat, is a big Harry Potter guy, and also my girlfriend's a big Harry Potter person. So I did watch the State of Play, and I was like, oh, gameplay looks good. The problem nowadays is that you have creators that can not only just create a piece of art, but they create these entire like universes and worlds that affect so many people, and then if it comes out that the creator has some really distasteful opinions, then that, you know what I mean? Like it sucks because that world, that universe has already affected so many people. Like if we're all honest with ourselves, let's say if a certain famous comic book creator sort of if it came out that you know, maybe they were a very distasteful person, do we think we'd all give up on like superheroes and the Marvel stuff? Like I don't think so. I don't know. It's tough. I don't know. I'm excited for the fans because this game, there's never been a really good Harry Potter game. In this game, I was watching the state of play. I thought it looked really great. It looked at least like a proper AAA quality game, which is
For
cool.
sure.
But yeah, personally, will I play it? No, because I just don't really like Harry Potter that much. But I will say, on a personal note, only because I'm a part of this podcast and I feel like it's important to be honest, I do feel that if your goal is to cover video games, you should probably cover them, unless they're like overtly like, yeah, I don't know. I feel like it's we should lean on the side of we should probably cover most games because, again, like the dev team didn't really do anything. It's just kind of J.K. Rowling and her backwards ass opinions, but I don't know. That's just me.
Yeah, I still think it just has to be a case by case basis that people need to make their own informed decisions. Of course, there's so many layers like we've talked about that, you know, not everyone's going to have the same, you know, takeaway from things. And, you know, if IGN doesn't want to cover it and, you know, Polygon does, and they all have their justifications for why they are and aren't, I think that's okay. I don't think that necessarily, in my opinion, everyone has to cover it. I do think that at the end of the day, it is a business, and like if IGN feels like that it's going to be a detriment to their site to cover it, then they're, by all means, don't cover it. I don't. Moving out of the heavy stuff, guys, we're moving into Friday the 13th. Developer IllFonic has announced a new Ghostbusters game called Spirits Unleashed. It's a new 4v1 Ghostbusters game. Apparently, you will have the chance to put on a proton pack, grab a ghost trap, and monitor the trusty PKE meter as a Ghostbuster and a team of 4 brave souls pursuing ghastly ghosts terrorizing public locations. Furthermore, players will be able to talk to Winston Zeddemore, once again voiced by Ernie Hudson, which is really cool, and also Dan Aykroyd's Ray Stantz at Ray's Occult Books, I don't know, to learn some busting wisdom. So I think that's actually kind of cool that they got 2 of the characters from the movies. Hopefully their voiced stuff isn't like weird and like corny and stuff and cheesy, but I think this
NBA 2K.
Yeah, yeah. I think this sounds really interesting on paper, though. I'm interested and intrigued to see more from it. I really liked Friday the 13th personally. I thought it was a really fun game. Definitely had its problems and glitches and bugs, but the gameplay I thought was fun. And I think this works perfectly for Ghostbusters. I think that would be a really interesting idea. And I just kind of want to see how it turns out, you know.
I agree. I saw this on Twitter, and they announced this, and I was like, oh, the 4v1 asymmetric model kind of fits this perfectly. I'm not a big Ghostbusters guy at all. I mean, the first movie's hilarious and great, but I don't really have a special connection to it. But yeah, no, I saw this and I was like, this seems like a good fit for that style of you know, Dead by Daylight, Friday the 13th style gameplay. That's cool.
Happy for you, Ghostbusters fans.
Yeah, I just missed the Luigi's Mansion 3DS multiplayer. That's what I miss. I want that back.
I was moaning for Luigi's Mansion, not for 3DS multiplayer. Sorry.
Oh, fair. The most fun. I was also 13 though.
Luigi's Mansion 2, so good, very good, very good. Guys, moving on into some custom Xbox controllers that have dropped. There's
Hell yeah.
There's 2 custom controllers for Sonic, celebrating the Sonic movie, and also a spring collection The Sonic controllers are probably the most bizarre and outlandish things I've ever seen in my entire life. Like, they're actually, like, if you haven't seen them, go look them up on the internet right now. They're literally like fuzzy, furry, like, creatures, and it's so crazy to see that.
That's a controller you put on display and never use if you got one. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, collect it and then just never hold on to it because that thing is going to be so disgusting. Play Elden Ring for 2 hours with that controller. Let's see how it feels after.
Oh man, it
You guys
just
are being-
traps all the moisture from your hands. You can't even wash it because it's a controller. Yeah, that's pretty gnarly.
You guys are being way too generous with this thing. I saw this, and you know what I immediately thought of when you see those awful like creepypasta type things where it's like a face made of teeth. Like that's what I saw when I saw this controller. I was like, this isn't right. None of this is right. I don't like this at all. I want it to be removed. I want to win that controller just so I can burn it and then make sure that nobody else, like, it doesn't go on to the next person.
I think
The fur almost looks fake. It's too lush.
I think
Too thick.
like we were saying in our Twitter chat, I think the console design looks super cool as long as it's like actually painted on there and not like a decal or sticker or whatever.
No, it's also fur. It's
Wait,
also yellow fur.
what?
Oh my
No,
god.
it's not.
Oh,
actually.
okay. I almost believed that for a second.
Furry console.
The I was trying to think what the controllers remind me of, and they remind me of Snuffleupagus from Sesame Street, that fuzzy elephant. Yeah, I never liked him either. So
Is he an elephant? Is that what he really?
I don't know what he is, but he has a trunk, so I just thought he was an elephant.
I don't
But
know what he is, but I don't like him.
I do like the spring collection though; those are really cute. I love those
And
controllers.
bring up the spring collection now.
Dude, the spring collection looks amazing. Like especially the buttons. I like the button designs, like on the ones that are the light colored. The other ones look, somewhat normal, but yeah, the light
Pink
colored
lemonade,
ones.
sexy. That like camo one, that purple camo in the background almost looks like more like paint than camo. Is great. The one on the right with the grip over it even looks really cool.
See, I kind of fucked myself over because I saw that and I misread the headline. I was just scrolling through Twitter, and I was like, "No way!" I thought these were colors and designs they were adding to Design Lab, and I was like, "No fucking way! That's huge!" And then I was like, "Oh, okay." It's still really cool, but I kind of thought it was even better than it was. Where I was like, "No way! They've added all these cool controllers." Because my girlfriend's been thinking about getting a custom controller. She hasn't quite found the right design yet, but these are cool, and I do like the grips. I told her about the grips. Comes to that.
Is Design Lab still a thing for the newest Xbox
Yes.
controllers?
It's only that. Yeah, they took it
That
down
is so
for
cool.
they took it down for like 6 to 8 months, I think, and then when it came back, you can only get the new. And
Got it.
Very cool. Very cool. Moving into our next story, guys. Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League has officially been delayed to 2023, spring 2023 more specifically. There was rumors about this for a long time that we were talking about, but Sefton Hill posted on Twitter, "We've made the difficult decision to delay Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League to spring 2023. I know a delay is frustrating, but that time is going into making the best game we can. I look forward to bringing the chaos to Metropolis together. Thank you for your patience." It is interesting. It's been a long time since the last game they made, which was Batman Arkham Knight. I think it was 2015, if I'm not mistaken.
Sounds right.
So 8 years, that's a long dev cycle. As some were pointing out, maybe this game kind of changed shape a couple of times. Maybe it didn't even start as a Suicide Squad game because there was rumors about TMNT for a little while. So it is interesting, but hopefully Rocksteady can put it all together and kind of land on something good.
Yeah. First of all, very cool that these two, DC properties aren't going to be competing against each other in the fall anymore. Talking, of course, about Gotham Knights. And also, like, impressions on this game just from the two trailers we've gotten seem to be, like, not largely enthusiastic about it. Like, I don't know. That gameplay didn't seem to entice a lot of people. So, yeah, push it out. Give it some more time. Maybe it'll look cool by the time it's ready to go.
Absolutely. Moving into our last quick bite, we have some review roundups, guys. Ghostwire Tokyo. We'll start with that. doing it's doing okay. It's doing 77 right now on OpenCritic. That's solid. Nothing, mind-blowing, but that's pretty good.
You say 77?
Yes, 77. So you
That's
get
7 points for me, baby.
Yep.
Enjoy them. Enjoy your scraps.
Yes. But I think people have largely been just saying like it's just kind of it's a different experience. I feel like it's just hard to describe that. I don't know. Somebody else would probably be better to describe this game because I don't even know how to describe this game, to be honest.
It was just a little basic and lackluster from what I've heard. None of the world looks and feels kind of empty. It's cool art design, right? But the side missions aren't very memorable, and none of it seems to be like too fun.
Yeah.
Just another kind of checkbox open world, and if you aren't into that, then might not be much there for you.
Absolutely. And then we also have review roundup for Kirby and the Forgotten Land, which somebody else has in their fantasy critic. And it's sitting at an 85 on OpenCritic right now. Keep killing it, Kirby. A lot of people.
I don't even.
Sorry,
yeah.
go ahead.
I don't even care that you're getting points for this game because I just wanted it to be good as well, much like Row. And a 9, I think, from a lot of places as well.
Yeah.
Is huge. For a Kirby game?
Yeah.
Oh my god, get out of here.
I care. I care that you're getting points, Dan, because you know what? We said we were going to do this fantasy league thing. It was a great idea, and I was like, oh, okay, we're all going to have fun, and we're going to have fun with it. And then Dan, the first weekend, while all of us are sleeping, decides that he's going to go on this binge spree and buy all these fucking games.
I did, yep.
I'm mad. I'm mad you're getting points.
When The Last of Us 3 gets announced and it comes out this fall,
we're wide awake, Gage. Yeah. We're wide awake. We're just waiting for E3, and we're playing a strategy here.
Okay.
I have 8 points, but we're playing a strategy.
Points?
We're playing a strategy. Yes.
What?
For just Destiny Witch Queen.
God damn it.
Yeah. My fail counter pick is the reason why I'm also
that's
so low.
That's right. But, yeah.
You'd be even farther ahead of me if it wasn't for that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Dan
Kirby's great.
His appetite, we're waiting for dinner.
That's ridiculous, Dan. That's absolutely ridiculous. Look at his.
Hey, we'll get there. Oh, hang on. But talking about Kirby, the open world, people have been really praising the 3D aspect of it, and many have been saying this is the change that Kirby needed. A lot of people are like, man, let's just get 3D Kirbys from now on. So that's really cool to see, kind of getting the Super Mario 3D effect essentially for Kirby. So that's really
cool. Yes. Can't wait.
Mm-hmm.
Heck yeah. And our final review roundup, Tiny Tina's Wonderlands, which of course somebody else has in their fantasy league team, and it is sitting at an 80 on OpenCritic right now. Actually, Game Informer gave it a 9.5, which I was like, holy crap. But it does seem like it's more of the same, that Borderlands-esque feel, but kind of changed up the formula a little bit with more Dungeon and Dragons type of deal. But a lot of people have been talking very good about this game, and it'll be probably a cool co-op game for people to play. And yeah, I think many of the complaints were that it wasn't very deep of a game, which I would argue pretty much all the Borderlands aren't that deep of a game. It's pretty, it's just a fun experience to hop into and enjoy with friends. So, yeah, it's cool to see that doing well as well. All right, guys, moving into our news of the week. The first one, obviously, we got to go back to a somber story. I'm sorry, guys. We're bringing it back down a little bit. But Ori developer Moon Studios, so they made Ori and the Will of the Wisps most recently, and also Ori and the Blind Forest many years ago, reportedly has an oppressive leadership and will reportedly not work with Xbox in the future. Not good. So Ryan McCaffrey had some good thoughts on it on here. He said, "This hurts to read. You might think that being a fully remote work studio would cut down on toxicity, but nope. It sadly appears that the heads of Moon Studio run their company like Twitter trolls, and their non-apology response only reinforces VB's report. Not good at all.
Yeah.
There's a little snippet here that says, another developer said, I do believe that Moon was a place full of wonderful people. It was just led by two monsters. As long as things were being done behind their backs, it was all actually enjoyable in the end because you were working with people who treated each other with respect. I believe that is one of the biggest issues. Those guys don't respect each other and they don't respect anyone. Not good at all. Obviously, this is not good to see from a game that is like so uplifting and so like happy and you know, emotional. Like, it's insane to me that the studio with the two essentially bigots at the top can release a game that is so beautiful as Ori 1 and 2, which it's just insane right now. And I think they're actually in a partnership with Private Division right now for their next game, which if you're Private Division, not looking good for these reports coming out at all.
Yeah.
I don't. Sorry, go ahead, bro.
I was just going to say, kind of goes back to what Gage was saying with Harry Potter, and I don't know how much these two guys actually had an involvement in the creation of Ori. Obviously, they're the heads of the studio, so obviously they had some input, but it really is the people there that are working for them who are making this amazing game that we love so much.
Mm-hmm.
And like similar to the devs of Harry Potter, they probably don't agree with what what's her name is saying. Who cares? I don't even want to say her name. Whatever. But you know who I'm talking about.
Yeah.
But yeah, it really is interesting. Is like if another studio were to be remade or these two were to leave and they are to continue the work of Ori, I'm sure we would still support them. But obviously, everybody make your own decision. If you don't want to support Moon Studios because of these two people, you're well within your rights to do so. But it's just interesting to think, and I hope the developers behind Moon Studio are going to be okay, because this is happening so often that it's just like who's next on the list? It feels like every week, which is so upsetting.
I saw this and I was like, I can't believe I can't believe it, obviously, but it was like, are we serious? Like, more reports? Like 2021 was a real wake up call, I think, for me, realizing that leadership across the industry is extremely toxic. Started obviously with like Activision, but like it's multiple reports. What feels like everywhere, and Rose is exactly right. Like, who else is next? I'm sure it's happening at countless other studios. Why? Just stop it. How hard is it to be a decent person and like not be a dick at work? Not be like this in general. Extremely frustrating. And I had a draft in my tweets that I probably should have tweeted. It was like, just reboot the whole games industry, not the devs, but the leadership. Just get them out, man.
Gage, do you have any thoughts on this?
Yeah, it's just unfortunate because it's tough, because when you the lead of a video game doesn't necessarily mean they've contributed the most. It just means that sometimes it can just mean that they've steered the ship. So like in the case of Ori, it's like, oh man, how could these awful people make such a beautiful game? It's like, well, they may not have. They may have come up with the idea and sort of just told people like, this is what the game wants to be. They didn't design Ori. They didn't design those beautiful backdrops. They didn't, you know what I mean? Like, Neil Druckmann is a fantastic game director. He didn't model all the characters. He didn't do the background. He didn't do the environments. He didn't do the animations. So it's not, to me, it's less surprising, because it's like, yeah, any asshole in a suit can tell people what to do. If the people are talented, the product will be good at the end of the day. So it's unfortunate that it's so common, because that's just kind of how it works out. Like, you can have a team full of just incredibly talented, hardworking developers who happen to work for an asshole, and that game's going to be great because the people working there are talented and know what they're doing. So, yeah, I agree with Christian. Reboot. Yeah, I want Game Industry 2.0. This just, yeah, because it seems like, it seems like it's a problem that's everywhere in the industry. It just varies on the severity, right? Because even look at the Initiative and 343, like we've been talking about the past couple of weeks. It's like it's not an isolated incident that management and developers, there is seems like intrinsic sort of battle between those two things, between those two groups of people. no matter what studio it is. It seems like nowadays it just depends on how severe it is. So yeah, I don't know. It's really unfortunate to hear. It's not surprising, unfortunately. I've kind of become desensitized to it, but yeah, I mean, and again, do we stop buying Ori? Because man, those games are absolutely beautiful, and a lot of talented people worked on that. So it's tough. You know what I mean? Like I don't know what the right answer is, but yeah, I would not be. I would definitely not feel any tears over these people getting replaced, especially if they're acquired by.
Yeah, I would say at this point, I don't think we're gonna get another Ori game. But
Yeah.
Also, like, if you're at the top and you're like, starting the studio and you have this like grand vision and everything, if you want to do something 100% yourself and not want to receive input from your entire team and all of that, then go make a game by yourself. And the greatest example of that is a game that came out last week, Tunic, because it was developed mainly by one person. He did get some people in like for sound and stuff like that he's not an expert on, but like he wanted to build a certain game and he went out and spent 7 years building that game. So like I think that's important as well. Like if you guys want to, have the end all be all, go make your own game by yourself. Don't bring in other people. Yeah. But yeah, this next story I think is going to make Christian very excited.
Sure about that?
I don't know. I mean,
you're going after me in the private chat.
I did. You're right, but no. Haven Studios has joined the PlayStation First Party Studios as their original partnership was originally announced as just a PlayStation 5 exclusive. They have now been acquired by PlayStation. Very interesting. They've also shown artwork for their first project, which looks beautiful. I mean, gorgeous. Like the scenery in these images is really cool. It's like almost like a modern aesthetic, like design built into like the scenery and like the environment. It almost reminded me of, ironically, Perfect Dark, what the initiative was supposed to be working on, because of that mixture of like nature and like a more modern, like industrial looking design. It's definitely it has that sci-fi-ish feel to it.
Yes,
it looks good.
You were right, Dan. This does make me happy. First of all, just like growing the PlayStation team, diversifying the portfolio is just always exciting in general, because it hasn't really been an FPS exclusive on PlayStation in quite some time. And then even like other shooters, not just first person, obviously, like those studios are now defunct. But like this isn't super surprising. Yes, it was surprising that they got acquired, but like anything is just more exciting. Like they must have seen something visiting Haven Studios and like seeing progress and updates, and like, yeah, this is fantastic. Like let's buy in on this. Like that alone, from announcement from they're making a game for us and it's exclusive to we bought them because we want them, happens so fast that like that alone really excites me. And then also it's just another sign of PlayStation wanting to just expand, right? Just be not just the third person action adventure kind of place for games, right? Have more live service option. That's going to be I'm very curious to see what kind of game it is, because I think it might be a live service game.
Yeah. Right.
If anything, the conversation is going to be interesting there. Like, do we need another live service game? Even if the FPS stuff is cool. My last thing I'll say is that at the very least, like, just getting different kinds of first-person shooters with interesting kind of takes is cool, because the other one I can think of is like Titanfall 2. That went down as one of the best FPS games ever made. So if Haven Studios can like take a percentage of that kind of interesting take on FPS, then they'll be in good hands.
Yeah. Ro, does this have you excited to when you one day get your PS5, you can boot up this experience?
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty excited just because, like, from Jade Raven, like, she was at Stadia not too long ago, and she was supposed to be making exclusive games for Stadia, and that didn't go so well. And now she's built her own studio, and now she's at PlayStation. So that's really cool how where she was and where she is now. Obviously, she's a big name in the industry, has a lot of history with making some really cool games. So yeah, I'm excited to see what her studio brings to PlayStation. It being a live service game is maybe good or bad. I love Destiny, but there hasn't been such a great track record with those types of games. But I'm hoping her studio is able to turn it around because of her history in the industry. So I'm sure they are in good hands over there. And yeah, the concept art looks great. So I'm excited to see more.
Yeah, the concept art looks really good, and I actually wasn't super excited about this studio per se until this news broke, where it's kind of like, oh, okay, so PlayStation saw something. They must have seen something in order to acquire them. Oh, look at that! There it is. That is my favorite of the concept arts too. That's awesome that you picked that one.
So fucking cool.
It looks so good. Yeah. So yeah, no, the concept art looks really cool. I'm not gonna hold my breath. I'm gonna wait and see a little more. Yeah, I don't know about this one. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see.
Indeed, we will.
That's probably a good approach. Wait and see, but maybe interest is a little bit peaked.
Yeah.
And
Good call.
Like you said, Christian, this diversifies the PlayStation portfolio so much. It's fantastic to see that because that definitely fills a void in their portfolio. And of course, it's cheaper for them to invest in them now before they've released a proven product. And
right,
if they're a
before it
great
becomes
team,
a massive hit.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Okay. And was Sony's last exclusive first-person shooter Killzone?
I was just
That's the
about to
one.
say, yeah.
Holy
PS4.
crap, man! It's been a long time. Yeah, see, I think the reason I'm waiting is because it's like similar to films. Jade Raymond, like aside from Stadia, a lot of the big games she worked on, she was a producer, which, like again, similar to film, like there's really hands-on producers that are influential, and there's some that aren't, that are very like laid back and sort of just like providing funds and sort of that. So this will be interesting to see how much of a creative knack she has, because yeah, being a producer for
Knack?
Assassin's Creed 3,
Knack 3.
Multiplayer.
being a producer for Assassin's Creed 3, it's like if she had a lot of design input on that, then I would be very excited. But I don't know that for sure. Like it's tough to tell because Assassin's Creed 3 is my favorite of the Assassin's Creed. So yeah, I'm waiting to see. I am waiting to see more, and yeah, I hope it's good.
Assassin's Creed 3 is not the best Assassin's Creed.
It is the best one.
Not
And
even
the last
close.
good one.
Not even close.
Yes, I agree.
Not even close.
Although I will say the multiplayer in Unity was fantastic. They should have done more of that. I don't know why they didn't.
I do kind of want to play Unity. I think the parkour in Unity, is that the one in France?
Yes.
Yes,
The
parkour
parkour
is
looks
awesome.
so cool. Still looks so cool. Like to
Yeah.
this day, still looks great.
And the co-op missions were great, like Gage was saying. Fantastic.
It's so I can't believe they never did that again. It was so cool to be fighting off like 3 guards and then your buddy jumps from the rooftop and takes one of them. Like it's so cool. We gotta play that, Dan. I know we both have it installed. We gotta play that soon.
Agreed. All right, guys. The final news story of the week. Doctor Strange and the Prowler are in Chapter 3, Season 2 of Fortnite. And, of course, normally this wouldn't be in the news. So that's not really the big news. That was just kind of thrown
No build
in there.
mode for 9 days.
Yeah,
Wait,
yes.
before we jump into the next thing, because the
Yeah.
next thing is actually important.
Yeah.
Can I want to jump in here. I've jumped back into Fortnite. I downloaded it and play. Oh shit! I need to put that in what you got for me. So I downloaded. So, I bought a brand new TV. Bought a Samsung 4K HDR QLED, and it is gorgeous. And I immediately started deleting games on my Xbox that were not Series X and S enhanced, and started filtering by that. And I was like, let's just test her out. Let's do it. I was like, you know what? As much as I'm not a fan of the gameplay, Fortnite is a gorgeous game. Let's download that. Let's jump into it. And lo and behold, gentlemen, they're having an in-game event right now where there's no building. It's only battling, which is my biggest problem with the game, is the building, because I go to fight somebody. I'm trying to fight someone, and they're like, one second, let's not fight. Instead, let me build a 3-bedroom bungalow. And no, I hate it. So I've actually been enjoying Fortnite since they've gotten rid of building.
Yeah.
I think it's back in now. But
Why is Dan shaking his head? What is
because
what
he
is
likes
wrong with
building.
The
He
best-
likes cranking
Why?
90.
The best and
No,
most unique
that's the-
part of Fortnite is the
Oh,
building.
Alright.
No, it's
Who-
not.
Nobody wants to play against sweats in that game, dude.
Yeah.
That is fun for no one except the sweats.
Yeah.
What are you?
I'm a
What are you
sweat.
like building on your PC? Fuck.
Yeah.
No, it's on my Xbox controller. I don't even play on PC, Christian.
Even worse.
Yeah.
I don't like the building in Fortnite either, but I do agree that it is the most unique thing about Fortnite, and that's why that's what makes it different. And if it was just shooting, that it would just be another battle royale game.
Sure.
That being said, there should be a mode separate that allows you to not build all the time, so I would be able to play it more. Because it just being 9 days is like not a good idea. Well, not that it's
They're
not a
probably
good idea.
testing it out, right?
Exactly, yeah. They're
Apparently
probably just
they
testing
got-
out to see if people want to play this or not. But yeah.
Right. Apparently they have. I saw on Twitter. I don't know. I didn't need to fact check it, but apparently they had quote record number engagements this past week with the building turned off. So if that's true, it's almost certainly
Well,
gonna come back in some way.
to be fair, that also
Oh.
coincided with the new season starting. So I don't know that that's necessarily indicative. I'm not saying it's not completely, but like they also get big boosts. I'm
I don't
sure.
think everybody's jumping in for Doctor Strange and
Yeah, I was gonna
Prowler
say,
alone.
yeah.
Yeah.
I think yeah, the building thing
Yeah.
definitely was the highlight. I think.
Remember when people used to premiere movie trailers in Fortnite?
Yeah.
God. Did that? No, that didn't happen.
Yeah, because Nolan bought in. The Russo brothers loved video games, so they had like
Oh my
Infinity
God.
War or
Thanos.
Endgame stuff. And,
Yeah.
yeah,
You're right.
trailers in that. Yeah,
The
I thought that
Thanos,
was like a weird fever dream.
the Thanos game mode or whatever was actually super fun. That was back when I was playing the heck out of Fortnite. So yeah, it was fun playing as Thanos.
He had some good ones. I will admit as well.
I probably would have kept it installed if my progress didn't all lose. But you know.
I don't know.
But the second part of this story, guys, more importantly, Epic Games announced that both themselves and Xbox are donating 100% of the Fortnite proceeds from March 20th to April 3rd to humanitarian relief for people affected by the war in Ukraine. I thought this was really, really cool. And also the fact that this ties in directly to the start of the new season is like huge because you get the new battle pass and literally that's what all the people playing the game are doing. They're buying the battle pass as soon as the new season comes out. So like the fact that they're doing this like the first couple weeks of this new season, that's crazy to me. And really cool that Xbox is joining them on and doing that as well.
they could have said 50%. I would have been like, "This is awesome."
Yeah.
100% for 2 weeks, absolutely stunning.
Insane.
Like that is a precedent.
And just for the first 2 days, they raised 36 million. So
Insane.
the fact that they have like what 12 more days to go still, yeah, that's insane.
Absolutely insane. And that 36 million just tells you how much money Fortnite still makes now. Like that's
Yeah.
mind.
If they weren't donating it, that's just theirs. You know,
Yes.
that's insane.
Yep.
Fuck, it's so much money.
I guess that's why Epic Games bought a giant shopping plaza and like hundreds of acres of land to build their new studio because they're making literally millions a day.
Yep.
But anyways,
Oh, okay. I'll say one last thing.
yes.
Not
Say
now.
it, say
This is epic.
Oh,
No pun
no.
intended. I'm sorry.
Wow.
Please move on to the
All
next.
right. Moving into our quick fantasy critic check-in, as we alluded to before. Dan is DTM is in first still with 70. With 70.84 points. Of course, that's with 5 games released. I don't think it's completely, it's not checking in with the games that just came out because I think they wait like a few days until the reviews are finalized or whatever. Christian, second place with 55 points, but that's only with 3 games. So Christian doing very well in terms of points per game there. And Rose in third with 8.27 points. Gilbert Biggins, Gage, 0 points, but they are still, you've got a lot of
I've got
games.
my 7 points on hold. They're coming.
Yes, they're coming. They're coming.
I did put in some bids for this week. I'll say this.
Oh.
Normally I don't like to vocalize it, but yeah, I did put in some bids for this week because I realized that
Oh.
Dan did have a lot, and I don't have a lot, and I need to fill up some games for the end of the year. Already a third of the way, so I figured, what's another 2 or 3 games?
Maybe I'll have to investigate the list again after the show. See what.
Dan, I need to do something unorthodox. You're gonna hate this.
What?
You're gonna absolutely hate this, but it's for a good cause. I need to plug something in the show.
Okay.
This should have gone in the news section.
Okay.
I want to say to everyone, especially, so this is for the PC gang Rise Up. If you go to Humble Bundle right now, they're having a Stand with Ukraine bundle.
Oh, that's right.
So Humble Bundle is this awesome website, if you don't know, and they partner with game publishers, and they do these bundles where you pay X amount of dollars and you get a ridiculous amount of games, and that 100% of that goes to whatever charity. So for this, it's for Ukraine. So it's $51 Canadian, which I think would be around $43 American. Let's say 45. $45 American. You get 80 games. And I'm gonna read you. I'm just gonna read you 5 of them. You get Satisfactory. You get Back for Blood, which is still full price. You get Metro Exodus. You get Spyro Reignited Trilogy. Max Payne 3, Quantum Break, Fable Anniversary, Sunset Overdrive, This War of Mine, and The Long Dark, Slay the Spire, and 74 other games for $45. 100% of the proceeds goes to the Ukraine humanitarian relief efforts. Just wanted to shout that out there before I forgot, because I bought that, and it's not only is it a great deal for you, but you're supporting a good cause. So just wanted to throw that in there. The offer ends in a day and a half, so you have until then to fill up your Steam library if you so desire. But it's an incredible deal, and like I said, it goes to a good cause. So just wanted to throw that out there before I forgot.
So I guess at the end of the day, just become humbled and become
Get out.
epic.
Get out.
At least she tried, right,
I
bro?
don't know. All right. Anyways, what you got for me, Ro? What you got?
Don't got much, Dan. As I was alluding to earlier with this Nintendo talk, I have only played Destiny for about an hour, and that was today before the show.
Hell yeah.
And that was it. I had a good time, though. I did one of the seasonal activities, got a little bit further in the story. But yeah, that's all I had a chance to play this week, unfortunately. Kirby is around the corner, though, so very excited for that. Hopefully I will have time to play that game at least when it comes out on Friday.
If I do your homework, will you play more games?
Yes, of course. Can you animate?
He didn't say he would do it well, though, Ro.
Oh, okay.
He would do it.
Yeah.
Goddamn. But yes, I would.
Christian, what you got for me?
Yes, I have some news plus ratio. I don't know why I wrote plus ratio, but I do have some news again this week. I'm working on something very cool that's embargoed right now, but like very exciting. So that'll be on the lookout soon. I also have another video that I finally finalized. Should be up tomorrow. Keep that.
Any hints on what it's about?
Yeah, it's actually a more fun, shorter video about like 2021 movies.
Ooh,
So
okay,
if you're all curious like about the Oscars and about some of the best movies, peep that video. It's about less than 20 minutes. That's tomorrow, and then of course Elden Ring. I want to read you my tweet, okay? I'm gonna pull my tweet up. I saw Dan liked it, but this deserves to be said again. I've never said it out loud. You guys ready?
Yes.
We're ready.
101 hours and 7 minutes. Want to be precise. 586 deaths and 25 pages of notes later. Yes, I have beaten Elden Ring. Still, yes, very much game of the year. And I will go so far as to say that I think Elden Ring really changed the way I think about masterpieces, because I do still have critiques about it, but it is still a masterpiece nonetheless. Yeah, I love that game.
Congrats.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I posted a video on one of the fights that is insane. If I can talk about it for like 2 minutes.
Please.
Dan,
Sure.
will you let me?
Yeah, go for it.
One of these fights is insanely broken. I died to this boss almost 200 times. It is the hardest From Software boss I've ever faced. Which is a shame, because that boss is almost like perfect. It's so cool. The stylized fight is awesome. The way the boss is designed, amazing. She has these 2 moves that are like unavoidable. If you get caught, it's death. And the gimmick, if you guys don't mind spoilers, is that one of the gimmicks is that when she hits you, she takes health back. That's fine, but she takes too much health back. And moreover, if you block, she takes health back. So she just gets health
It's
back.
like, what am
all
I
the
supposed
time.
to do?
And if you get caught in one of the 2 unavoidable attacks, that run is over. Phase 2, even worse than Phase 1. I'm just talking about Phase 1. So it ends up being this like completely RNG fight. Then From Software nerfed all the stuff that players were using to like beat this broken boss. And so by the way, this whole area totally optional. I didn't have to do this, but like I wanted to. I finally did it, but I had to have one person come in and then another person come in. So it was 3 of us fighting one boss. Spent 2 hours. Still could not get it. We said one last try, right? And luckily on this final try, the game glitched and her phase 2 started with one attack, like one like tiny health bar. And I was like, yes, I did it. I don't even care. This to me is an absolute win. Anyway, Elden Ring, flawed masterpiece. Thank you.
Damn. It's amazing that it had to take it was a glitch that allowed you to get through.
I don't even care. I'll take
Yeah.
a win's a win from Software.
And also almost 200 deaths. Most games you won't even hit that number at all, let alone just one boss is almost 200 deaths. That's crazy.
The final boss in Sekiro, which is the most before Elden Ring, it was their last game. That boss was the hardest boss I've ever fought, and that one only took about 69 tries. So this one was like was on another level. It was insane.
Yeah, you should not feel bad about beating it because of a glitch, Christian, because I beat Lasso on Halo Infinite because of a Easter egg / glitch. I don't know what you would call it, the tank gun, but yeah, don't feel bad for it. And you also confirmed with your what you got for me that I will never play Elden Ring.
I came so close to raging, dude. I legit one time like held my controller like probably too tight, and I was like, this isn't safe. This isn't healthy for me to do right now. And then I kept playing because I needed to beat this boss. I did it though.
All right.
Oh, and my apology.
What? Oh.
I've got a masterpiece.
Oh. That's it.
I need to apologize to Gage.
Sounds like Gage needs to apologize to all of us now. What the hell?
Please continue.
A few weeks ago, we talked about BioShock, right?
Oh,
right. I got all hot and heavy, and I was like, dude, like this game sucks. Right? It's not good. I should apologize to you and Dan. You know what? Like BioShock is fine. You know, it's got its issues, right? For me. But like, you know what? Maybe I spoke too soon. If you're enjoying BioShock, I'm happy you are. So I apologize for being pretentious about it. You know what I mean? Not pretentious, but you know what I mean.
I accept your apology.
Sick. That's it.
Okay. Gage, what you got for me? More BioShock?
No, actually, unfortunately. So the reason, I don't know if the audience knows, the reason I wasn't on the podcast last week is because my internet was down for a week and a half because Bell decided to shut it off a week and a half early, and then after acknowledging that they did in fact shut it off too early, said, well, the only way we can get it turned on is if you pay a service fee to start up the service again. Like, well, yeah, so that was lovely. Don't get Bell if you live in Canada. It's awful. So I hadn't been playing much of anything because I tried to boot up Steam, and I don't know if there's a setting that I have set somewhere, but normally you can play offline mode. But every game I booted up, it was like, hey, if you play, we might accidentally delete all your save data, so you can play at your own risk. And I was like, okay, I guess I'm not playing anything. And I'm sharing my Xbox account with Glenn, so a lot of the games that I own, I actually can't play when it's offline. It was a whole thing. I didn't play anything last week. So, did not play BioShock, even though I'm going to work on that. Like I said, got my brand new swanky TV, so I have been playing like an hour of like 40 different games, trying out the TV. So I jumped into Tunic, absolutely gorgeous, super relaxing, just a very chill game. I like it. It's like Hades if it wasn't stressful at all and just sort of chill. Yeah, very beautiful art style, really, really cool. I actually So again, sorting games by 4K, seeing what's gonna look pretty. I downloaded Anthem and booted that up again because I was like, you know what? I remember the game being beautiful, and it is in fact beautiful. And unfortunately, yeah, man. I mean, we've talked about Anthem. We don't need to talk about Anthem again. But
So
damn,
sad about that game.
that and I've said that I know Ro knows this about me, and I think Dan and I have talked about it quite a bit when we've played video games. But like my kryptonite is character customization, and oh man, the javelin customization in Anthem is so good. It's so ridiculously good. Makes me upset that this game didn't have legs because. Go ahead, Christian.
There are 2 game trailers that I constantly think about because the promise of that game looked so freaking cool, and then the final product just didn't deliver.
Oh.
One is The Division.
Yes, I was thinking that. Yes.
It's always a
Oh,
Ubisoft
man.
game. Watch Dogs
Yeah.
for me. But yeah.
Dude,
Well,
the origi-
Watch Dogs is a great one, but the other one is Anthem. Like that game looked so cool when that was first shown. Are you kidding me?
Man, the original concept for The Division, that game would have been fucking incredible if they actually went with what it originally was. And then the last one is Fortnite. I played I actually played quite a bit with Dan. Dan and I were playing with a couple of mutual friends, and we got victory royale after victory royale, baby, because these kids can't hide from me. There's no 2-story, 4-bedroom, 3 baths to hide from me, kids. So it was great. I had a great time.
All right, Daniel, what you got for me? I'll just add on to your Fortnite comments. I think the new updates that they've added to Fortnite is really cool. Like they've added clambering, which I thought was really cool. It just seems like it's a little bit more polished, being able to climb things. I think that's kind
And
of
a super sprint, right? They added that weird like Call of Duty
Yes.
Modern Warfare-esque like super sprint, which is weird.
Well, they had to, right? Because if there's no climbing, you need a way to like
yes
get up stuff. Right?
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And yeah, the sprint thing, when I was first put into the session, I pressed sprint, and then I was like, what the heck? This is like this is different. And I'm just like, all right. But it's an extra sprint, essentially, so it's kind of neat. But anyways, I ran like the gambit of games this week. Glenn had me play like 4 different games with him, so I don't even remember everything I played. But the 2 that I wanted to focus on, VR, first off, I played some more Oculus, and I didn't buy anything new. I was just playing more of the same stuff, Rec Room and the such. But it's just so much fun. Every time I freaking play it, I forget about how much fun it is just to play it. Like,
Dan,
yes.
let's hop into some VR games, man.
Let's-
Like that Gorilla Tag, or like I don't know, what is the other one? Chat Room? No.
Gorilla
VR
Tag?
chat.
Wait, what's
Yeah.
Gorilla Tag?
You don't know Gorilla Tag?
It's
I have
a
no
free
idea.
game, and you like parkour as a gorilla around, an environment, and you play tag. It's great.
That sounds
What?
incredible.
Yeah, we gotta play that.
We need to find those TikTok videos and send that to these
I'll
guys
send-
because
I'll
they're
send
so
it in.
funny. They are so funny. Oh my
Echo
God.
Arena is free. You can play that together, and then the other game that's free. What is the other? The weird one, with everyone's like wearing different skins.
VR
Is it
chat?
VR chat?
VR chat. There
Yeah.
you go. Yeah. Let's hop in,
Jinx.
buddy.
Yeah, I'm down. Hit me up, Christian. We'll play some.
Yeah.
But
And I got
also,
VR too, but I'll just sit out. It's fine.
Gage, you can join as well.
No, I said I didn't want it.
But also, you can join the damn kid. No. Also, I've been playing Tunic, and I played about an hour and a half of it, which isn't a lot, I know, but like I'm really enjoying like the world. It is so pretty, and obviously a lot of people compared it to like a Dark Souls, like it's a difficult game. But however, the difference is this game has fantastic accessibility settings, Christian. So I was playing the heck. No, I wasn't. I was just talking. Never
Christian
mind.
worked on Dolph.
'Cause-
On
No. I just mean it because you're a big,
I know.
FromSoft fan. But anyways, they have a great accessibility mode where you can turn it on and you can't die.
Yes.
Which I love that, because like I was already getting frustrated about 45 minutes in or so. I encountered like this big dude that like just destroyed me, and I'm sure I'm not supposed to be there at this time, and I'm supposed to get better or whatever, but I'm just like, nope, turning this on and you're dead. I just enjoy it so much more that way, and like I just think the world in that game is so cool, and the art style and everything. It's Oh, it's so good.
I downloaded Tunic and I'm super excited to get to it in the next few days because I'm finishing up some projects. But like I have such a weird like what is the phrase I'm looking for? I don't know. Like the way the games industry kind of handled discourse around vagueness and obscurity between Elden Ring and Tunic has been so weird to me. But again, I'm still super looking forward to Tunic, and I'm happy to hear that both of you guys seem to be enjoying it. So cool stuff.
Yes, absolutely. And let's move into the topic of the show, guys. CD Projekt Red has officially confirmed a new Witcher game is in development and will use Unreal Engine 5 instead of their proprietary Red engine that was used in Cyberpunk and previous Witcher games. The new game will kick off a new saga for the franchise, and they are working very closely with Epic on Unreal Engine. So obviously they're learning some things from Unreal from the people who created themselves. So that's very good news, especially since their engine caused many of their issues with Cyberpunk and others.
Yeah.
But I wanted to ask you guys, do you guys think that their switch to Unreal Engine 5 is going to avoid some of those development issues that they had with Cyberpunk? Does that switch make it easier for them? Are you guys personally excited for this game? Like, obviously there's a ton of issues with Cyberpunk and what happened with that launch and kind of the crunch culture there, which we'll talk about here in a few minutes with that specifically. But are you guys excited for this? And like, what are your thoughts?
Who wants to go first?
Go first. I am incredibly excited that they're getting rid of Red Engine and moving to Unreal 5 because I get it. When you're a huge company, licensing fees can be huge, right? Obviously, Epic did this really cool thing where if you are an independent developer or an independent team and you make under $1 million revenue, you can download Unreal Engine 4 for free. Super cool, awesome for them to do that. If you're a massive company, licensing fees it's way more expensive, right? You're talking about the hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars to license that. So I understand that a lot of companies want to avoid that and use their own proprietary engine. But time and time again, we see that it does not work. EA trying to make every game use Frostbite doesn't work. Bethesda, using what is it? Creation Engine over and over again. When that game, like Fallout 4, is a fun game, but like when you compare it to other games that released that year, not up to par, right? And that's actually my biggest concern with Starfield is how, I guess, how well they've made Creation Engine 2. So yeah, I think as much as I love The Witcher 3 and from what I've seen of Cyberpunk, that the Red Engine just wasn't, I don't think it's up to par, especially if they're trying to be so modular and so like ambitious with the scope of their game. You need something that is sort of has its own people working on it. Like Epic is constantly improving and adding features to Unreal Engine 5. So if you're a developer and that's one less thing to worry about and you have this sort of polished product available to you to use, I think that will lead to a better finished product that they're working on, and that it does make me more excited for The Witcher 4 because it's probably going to look gorgeous, and hopefully it'll be a lot less buggy and there'll be a lot less kinks on the back end and that sort of thing.
My only worry, just to get at Dan's question, is how well the team will adjust to workflow over on the new engine. Just because who
Right.
knows how long they've been working on Red Engine, right? And switching over to something else like may or may not produce some kinds of problems internally that sure will avoid like bugs and overall polish, but like how is the team going to adjust? But if they're given time, right? Like if they're given the time to make a proper like Witcher 4 game, or if they even do call it Witcher 4, the fourth installment or whatever, fourth Witcher game, then I'm sure it'll be fine. And like Unreal Engine is or am I thinking of a different engine? Like I feel like of the bigger engines, like Unreal is one of the ones that people are probably more familiar with. Like
it is very user intuitive. Yeah, it's very easy to use.
Yeah, so it should be fine. Am I excited? Absolutely. Like with Red Engine, sure, like there was problems with Witcher 3, but to me, I never really focused on them because the writing was so good that any kind of like bugs and stuff, like be like, okay, this is whatever. if anything big happens, I'll reload the game. It's no big deal because I'm so enthralled with the story. So to
Right.
see like if they can bring that writing team, and I know they will, to another Witcher game and have it be like looking and running fantastic with Unreal Engine, then it should be a great game.
Yeah, yeah. I'm not super excited. That's just because I didn't beat The Witcher 3, and it just didn't catch me. Like I know so many, I know how it did so many people. I just never gave it the full chance that I guess maybe it deserved, but it just never stuck with me. I tried 3 times to get past. Like I got farther each time, but I never just
It never
completed
clicked.
it. Never
okay.
clicked. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I am interested to see what this new saga for The Witcher is. For whatever they show off, I'm definitely going to be looking out for it. I definitely want to. I want to enjoy it. It's just never clicked with me. It being an Unreal Engine 5 is cool. I saw those cool demos that they did earlier this week. I don't remember the actress's name, but they did like a cool demo earlier this week, and it looked like real life. So I'm excited to see what they do with The Witcher, which is already a pretty game, and so was Cyberpunk. It, like what Christian was saying, like time is really the only thing that prevents these developers from not putting out something as amazing as they can. Because Cyberpunk, how it is now, even when it released, it was still a pretty game, but if they were given the right amount of time, no matter the engine, I think they could still develop something that works, that looks pretty, all that stuff. So it's just as a matter of the higher ups giving the developers a good amount of time to create something that works.
Because
Yeah.
Cyberpunk just had that big update, and they added like that is almost like game changing at that point
Yeah.
with that huge update. Like systems run so much differently in that game now. Like that is closer to the promise of what Cyberpunk should have been. Like, and it just needed to be pushed out another year. So
Yeah, absolutely. And like you, sorry, go ahead, Christian.
no, go ahead, and I'll ask after. It's okay. It's okay.
Okay.
It's an aside.
All right. I'm just thinking, like, I agree with you guys. Like, theoretically, they should have a wider amount of devs that are familiar and comfortable with Unreal Engine 5. So hopefully, the switch to Unreal Engine 5 just makes the entire development process go a little smoother for them, and find bug fixes easier, and everything that goes along with that. The only thing I will say, like, and not to say that this would happen, but like it is something to think about. Like, one of the things I always think about in terms of Halo, for instance, like, will switching engines make them lose that magic? Like, that's what I always worried about with Halo, was like, if they switch to another engine, like for instance, Unreal Engine 5, will it still have that same Halo feel? So like, will The Witcher still feel like The Witcher, if that makes sense? Because like every game doesn't feel the same. Every game has its own like nuance to it, and part of that comes with the gameplay. Part of it comes from the environments and the tools you're using and everything else. But like, I think that may be something that they can overcome, they absolutely can overcome. It's just, can they recapture that magic, I guess, with this new engine?
My counterpoint to that is Call of Duty's engine change from the old one to then what was the now the Modern Warfare engine, and like how that still felt like a Call of Duty proper, even though it is a brand new engine. So the hope, I would say the hope is there.
For sure, and I think that's the best case scenario, and that's actually a really good point, Christian. Is that this is what happens when you do. This is like the best case scenario of when you do switch engines, is that you do still have that look and feel, but it feels so much better. Like it feels like it absolutely feels like Call of Duty, but it feels better than what it was. It feels so much better, and that's what I'm hoping for, because, like you said, like you personally were able to look the bugs, like, and that's all the power to you. But like, Cyberpunk obviously launched disastrously, and The Witcher 3 did launch with tons of bugs, and it was like I think it's not necessary for every studio to switch engines, but when you do have, when there's a track record of having issues, like obviously they decided this themselves. They decided they were moving to Unreal Engine 5, and they obviously had a reason for that, and I think that it's just because Red Engine maybe wasn't as optimized as they'd like it to be, or it's not as modular as they need it to be. But the thing that's exciting for me is that we've all seen demos of Unreal Engine 5 and what it can look like. So I am totally ready to be excited for The Witcher again.
I should clarify too, like, correct me if I'm wrong, but The Witcher 3, it had a lot of bugs for sure, but like none of them were ever game breaking to the extent of like how Cyberpunk was. Almost
Not to the
unplayable,
extent,
right?
no,
Like,
but there was plenty. There was a lot of small bugs. Like it was definitely noticeable, but no, it was absolutely nowhere
Yeah.
near
Yeah.
broken.
for sure.
Yeah.
Question
Yes.
for the gang.
Yes.
Because new Saga has implications, right? May or may not have implications.
Hmm.
Probably not a Geralt game, which I think is good. Who's played Witcher? Just everyone but Ro?
Everyone but Ro.
Okay. What do you think are the odds here that it's a game about Ciri? Seems like a lot of people want Ciri, right? And that
I
some
would
people
be
want new
so
characters.
down for that. I'd
Yeah.
be so down for.
Yeah,
I-
Ciri's a great character.
I
I
haven't
would
played
love.
Witcher, and I would like a Siri game.
So I kind of feel about The Witcher 4 how I feel about the hypothetical Red Dead 3. I don't care who the main character is. I just don't want it to be someone. I don't want it to be someone where we know how the story ends. Like if it's someone we already know, like Ciri, I don't want it to be a prequel. I would love it to be Ciri and to take place after in like sort of
Absolutely.
where there's still some sort of where you don't know what's going to happen, because obviously just to sidebar real quickly with Red Dead 3, people were like, oh, it should be like Dutch and Hosea when they're younger, and I'm like, no, I don't want another prequel. Like I want something where I don't know what's going to happen. So yeah, I would absolutely love it to be Ciri, and I would love for it to take place, ahead of the books, ahead of the games, where it's like everybody's like coming into it with sort of a fresh perspective, not knowing what's going to happen. But I would also be fine with like just anyone in that world, because that universe is so unique. But I'm down for a Ciri game, absolutely. That part of Witcher 3 was awesome when you're such a realized and like just very nuanced and three-dimensional character, which is I would love a Ciri game.
She makes Geralt more interesting.
Yes, she complements. It's so rare. The Last of Us is the only other game that I can think of like this, where when you're playing as one character and then it switches you to another, it's so rare to have them not only feel fun to play, but to complement the original character and add to the original character. And Ciri absolutely did that. We're big Ciri fans here at Podcast.
As a Witcher 3 novice, or Witcher novice in general, the Lynx necklace that's in the snow here, Gerald has like a different one, right? It's like a wolf, right?
Yes.
Yeah, this looks to be like some sort of cat one. Yeah. Like
Does this give you guys any hints as to what the game is about, or is it just like super teasy? Have no idea.
If I remember right, Lynxes are attached to like their schools, right? To the Witcher schools.
Yeah, the cat school. Yeah.
They did actually announce that this emblem in the snow here is a new one, so it's a completely brand new one that we didn't see in the original trilogy. So
Okay.
That's
so that
the
could be our first hint that it's a
Yeah.
new character, that it's not anyone we know, because
right.
if it's a new school, then that would mean theoretically it's new Witchers, it's new mentors and all that stuff, or again, very slim chance it could be Ciri finding this group of Witchers, right, and being trained by them, because I always thought that everything about the School of the Cat and that sort of fight style in the lore is totally like kind of fits with Ciri, so that would be cool. But okay, I thought it was the cat emblem. I didn't know that it's a new school. That's kind of cool.
Yes.
I won't replay Witcher because it's a long game. I really want to
Yeah.
now. And I still have never played the DLC. And I think if I remember right, there are rumors or scuttlebutt around like a Witcher, not remake, but like a remaster coming to consoles. Right?
They're making a Series XS, like they're making a next gen enhanced version
Of Witcher 3. Yeah.
Yeah.
of Witcher 3. Yeah, it hasn't come out yet, but it'll be, I'm guessing, 4K HDR, 60 frames, all that good stuff. Yeah, you won't do it, Christian. I don't even download it, because I do this all the time. I get talking about The Witcher 3 and I get excited and I get 30 minutes into it and I'm like, fuck, I'm 0.5% of the way through. I'm not playing this game again.
I'm playing the DLC. I'm just not gonna replay the main.
Okay,
the main story.
yeah.
I can
Right.
re-download my save on my console, my PlayStation, like at any time. I have it, so.
Well, what's awesome that they did too is that with their DLC, you can. I only played one of them, but I'm assuming it's the same for the second one. Is that it lets you create like it just generates a save for you so that you start the DLC at whatever level you need to be, and you can play just the DLC, which is
that's
really
nice.
cool.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Awesome.
So you can if you want to re-download that, you can literally just jump into the DLC without having to replay the game, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, absolutely. On the backs of this, guys, the Gwent director, so Gwent's the card game that is inside of Witcher, which became its own thing that they released separately. So the director of that standalone game, Jason Slama, I hope that's pronounced correctly, has been brought on to lead development for the next Witcher game, and says crunch will not be allowed on his watch for the project. So he had an interesting quote in here. He, of course, is referring to having to work long hours and extra days in order to finish a game on time. That's what crunch is entailing. And obviously, Cyberpunk 2077 had mandatory crunch, essentially, which isn't great. But he's quoted as saying, and again, in an environment where I achieved my ultimate goal of saying, hey, look, you can make a high quality CCG without murdering the people who work on it with whips and chains, especially considering all the controversies that happened with crunch and everything. The fact that we managed to achieve all of that with really awesome working conditions and people thanking me for the support and what they taught me, it's a very humbling but also inspiring moment and day for me. So obviously, this should entail good news for the project and hopefully makes better working conditions for CD Projekt Red for this game. Hopefully, it'll continue and that'll happen. Hopefully, the upper management gives them the time they need, like we talked about a little bit ago. Ro mentioned, like they just need to be given the time that they need to make sure the game is done. Don't release it before it's done. But does this indication of Jason Slama taking over as the lead on this, does that give us a little bit of confidence in them keeping their word in that side of things? And like, do you guys think that the management will give them the time they need to release the completed game? Like, are we gonna get the completed game? I don't know. What do you guys think?
I think either way, they have to take their time with it because they have to get fans back after the backs of Cyberpunk because
for sure,
Witcher's a beloved franchise. Cyberpunk bombed, quote unquote. Nobody wants to see a bad Witcher game. Like that would lose so much confidence in CD Projekt Red, like more than they already had with
they can't afford it. Yeah,
they can't afford. Yeah, perfect way to say it. Yeah, so yeah, and just having a positive work culture, I think, will do so much to kind of change like kind of mentality around CD Projekt. So. Everyone loves to see that, so I think that's a great first step. If they can maintain that for probably the next 4 or 5 years, I think they'll be onto something like pretty special. So,
you know what? We skipped over this at the beginning of this story, but let's not forget that this announcement is exactly the same as Mass Effect will continue. This is totally like a saving face because of Cyberpunk. We kind of glossed over that, and I just did want to throw that out there because I like to try and be consistent, and I gave BioWare shit for the whole, Mass Effect will continue. It's like, why are you even mentioning it now? This is the same thing. This game is like 2027, 2026, probably, like at the absolute earliest. So it is totally just sort of like let's stop talking about Cyberpunk, and here's The Witcher. The Witcher's coming back. In terms of, does this do anything for me with this guy coming back to lead? I never played Gwent, so no, it doesn't really particularly do anything for me. But the no mandatory crunch is cool. I saw a lot of people on Twitter being dumb as people do, and saying that not allowing your employees to crunch is a bad thing. And it's like, listen, mandatory crunch is always a bad thing. Crunch inherently isn't a bad thing. I mean, I know. All four of us here, we all have our own individual YouTube channels, and I'm sure I'm not the only one who's stayed up for 6-7 hours editing, and you're in the zone and you're feeling good, and you're like, hell yeah, I'm on a spree. This is good. So crunch inherently isn't bad. The problem is when it's mandatory or expected crunch. That's not ever positive because you're sort of, it's the opposite of what natural crunch is, where you're sort of like losing track of time because you're so in it. So I just wanted to point that out there too, where some people were like, "Oh, you're not allowing your employees to give it their all." Like, no, he's just saying that he's not going to force people to miss their family and having life outside of the office.
Yeah.
But yeah, no mandatory crunch is always a good thing to me. So that part's exciting. It's very nice for the lead designer or developer or however you want to frame it to say these things, but like Christian mentioned earlier, we're gonna have to wait and see whether or not the suits actually give him that, because he can say no mandatory crunch on his watch all he wants, but if the suits walk into the room and say, hey, this game needs to come out next fall, then that's when it becomes tough, because then it's like either he leaves the game, or so yeah. Hopefully, like Christian said, they are given the time they need to finish this, because no mandatory crunch sounds awesome, and I want the next Witcher game to be good. I want CD Projekt Red to go back to their pre-Cyberpunk reputation of being one of the best RPG developers in the industry.
Heck yeah.
Okay, I have something else to add if Ro doesn't have anything.
I just wanted to say, when Gage was talking about Mass Effect, I was totally thinking about BioWare before when you brought up the story. Like, they're in a very similar situation where they have to do good with this one, where BioWare has to make sure that Dragon Age and Mass Effect is good off of the backs of Andromeda and Anthem. So yeah, CD Projekt Red is definitely a very similar situation. So it's good that the lead is at least coming out and saying like, hey, we're going to try and do better this time. And will the management give them time to complete the game? They better, if they don't want another Cyberpunk situation on their hands, which I'm sure they don't. So yeah, it I don't know if it gives me confidence, but it is a good sign that they're getting ahead of it and saying like, we don't want to repeat our mistakes again. So that's good, at least.
Excuse me. Sorry.
Bless you.
Yeah, so I don't want to. Oh, sorry, Christian. Go ahead.
Oh, it's okay. It's okay.
I was just gonna say, like, I don't know if this is my personal thoughts, but I don't know if this is exactly the Mass Effect situation, just because like the timing of it, because like obviously Cyberpunk is in the best place that it's been ever right now. So like obviously there's not as much bad blood right now with it. So like, if they had announced this like, a year and a half ago when Cyberpunk first came out and it was just an utter disaster, I think I would have tended to agree with you guys. Like, this is like them just covering their tracks, essentially. I think this is just an example of them announcing shit too soon, because like Cyberpunk itself was announced like 9 years ago or something crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, it's with a CG trailer. It was just stupid. Like, why do you announce things that far in advance? Like, they need to just
investors.
wait.
That's why.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I feel like they just need to pump the brakes. Like, let's just wait until we have something substantial and then show us something cool. But I hope this is good for the future of the franchise and for CD Projekt Red. Hopefully Jason can, convince the higher ups and say, hey, we need more time if the game's not ready when they originally want it to be ready. So I don't know. It'll be interesting to see.
The last thing I'll say before we close out, because this doesn't have to be like a response or whatever, but just like an idea to throw out there. It's going to be interesting to see how that open world comes together in the face of, a lot of discourse this week. Granted, the internet has, memory is terrible. But like this week, there's been a lot of praise, or the past 2 weeks, a lot of praise for Tunic and Elden Ring for how like not handholdy, how vague that open world is, and kind of just lets you go out and explore, versus games like Horizon, which critically did well. And and then compare that with other Ubisoft games where like the map is like flooded with icons everywhere, right? Witcher 3, a game that had icons, that is an icon fest of a game. But I think the key difference there was that like a lot of that game was like top quality, even like a lot of the side quests that you're doing are like still have the same level of quality as like main quest activities. So they can maintain that, I think, with Witcher 4, whatever they're gonna call it. I think it'll be okay. I think it doesn't have to be like a super vague kind of open world. I think it can still be similar to what we know of, but that same level of quality has to be there.
Boy. Anything else, guys, before we close out the show? All right. Thank you again to everyone joining us live on YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter, as well as podcast services everywhere, including Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, SoundCloud, Spotify, and Stitcher. Thank you, Ro, Christian, and Gage. I am Daniel, and this has been Podcast PXN, and we are out. Much love, and keep on gaming.
See ya.
Yeah, baby.
Mary Jane Watson is in Fortnite. The red-haired version.
What?
This is great.
Whoa.
Breaking news.
Scoop.